Grief hit me before the loss did. That's the part nobody prepares you for. I started going to the rooftop of my building at 2 a.m. because sleep had stopped working. Not insomnia exactly, more like my body forgot what rest felt like after she left. Not a romantic she. My best friend of 11 years. The kind of person who knew your coffee order and your worst fear and somehow held both without flinching. The rooftop had this one busted vent that hummed in a low, uneven frequency. Annoying at first, then weirdly comforting, like the building itself was breathing. That's where I met Dove. He showed up the third night, carrying a paper bag of leftover fries from the diner downstairs where he worked the night shift. He had this habit of counting his own breaths when he was nervous. Not out loud, but you could see it. His chest would rise, pause, rise again, deliberate, like he was manually operating himself. He didn't ask why I was up there. I didn't ask why he was. We just sat near that humming vent and split cold fries at 2:17 in the morning. I had this transit ticket in my jacket pocket, old one, creased down the middle, from the last trip my friend and I took together before everything fell apart. I kept touching it without realizing. Dove noticed. "You keep checking that like it might change," he said. "Maybe I'm hoping it will." He nodded like that made complete sense, because to him, it did. We became a strange kind of ritual. Not every night, but enough nights that I started sleeping again on the ones in between, because I knew the rooftop would be there. The vent would hum. Dove would show up with whatever the kitchen hadn't finished. Once it was half a slice of lemon cake. Once it was just crackers. The turning point wasn't dramatic. It was a Wednesday, cold enough that our breath was visible, and I finally told him about her. About how the friendship ended not in a fight, but in a slow drift I didn't notice until I was already on the other side of it. About how I kept the transit ticket because throwing it away felt like agreeing that it was over. Dove counted 3 breaths. Then he said, "Keeping it isn't the same as being stuck." I sat with that for a long time. The thing about grief that nobody tells you, wait, I'll say it differently. The thing about grief is that it tricks you into thinking honoring something means freezing in place, like movement is betrayal. But I had been moving. I just hadn't given myself credit for it. I climbed those stairs every night. I showed up. I split cold fries with a stranger who counted his own breaths and somehow made that feel like the most normal thing in the world. I still have the transit ticket. It lives in the small dish by my front door now, not in my pocket. That's the difference. It went from something I clutched to something I just keep, something I can see without it pulling me under. Dove got transferred to a different location a few months later. We exchanged numbers. We text sometimes, nothing profound, usually just a photo of something weird he found at the new diner. Last week it was a fork bent into a near-perfect circle. No explanation, just the photo. I laughed for the first time in a while. Real laughing, the kind that surprises you. I think that's what genuine connection actually does. It doesn't fix you or complete you or any of that language we use when we're trying to make loss sound prettier than it is. It just quietly reminds you that you're still capable of showing up, still capable of splitting something small with someone and calling it enough. The rooftop vent still hums. I know because I went back last week, alone, at 2 a.m., and I just sat there and let it. It felt less like an ending and more like something I finally knew how to carry.